Hello, everyone. I am Daniel Cobble, and this is November 27th, 2022, on Sunday. And I'm making this video of my warrant letter to Governor Andy Beshear that requires a redo of the 2000 of the November 8 general elections. Uh, and I was the write-in candidate for U.S. Representative District 3 in Louisville, Kentucky. And this warrant letter, this is page 1 of the warrant letter that shows the 4 points of irregularities that occurred on November 8 and there and around November 8. And for example, item A is where the precincts were suspended from reporting the vote counts, which is violation of the Kentucky Constitution, Section 148, that requires the precincts to report the vote counts. And B is the liens issued against Secretary of State Michael Adams and Jefferson County Clerk Bobby Holesclaw and Director Karen Sellers of the Kentucky Board of Elections were disqualified for these liens that were issued against them. And the governor, these liens were also served upon the governor for his notification. And so the governor, Beshear, knew about these liens also. And then involving more election fraud, residents report a closed precinct without notification from Clerk Holesclaw. And as I point out in the letter, if this precinct was closed, then it is very likely that multiple precincts were closed. In fact, just the other day, one of my voters, one of my supporters, told me that their precinct was closed without notification. Indeed, here I am pointing out to Governor Beshear that it would be illegal for him to have these vote counts certified, at least in Jefferson County, because of these material irregularities that point to election fraud. And down here at the bottom, I added this note where thus far on November 27 today, that the Office of the Secretary of State has not certified the vote count and has not posted the unofficial vote count. Usually the unofficial vote count is going to be posted the day after the election, November 9. Okay, and so this is page 1 of this warrant letter, this November 16 warrant letter to Governor Beshear. And this is page 2, and it discusses the travesty on election night, suspending the precinct reporting. And we're asking for, at the very least, a redo of the Metro Louisville mayoral race in the county clerk's race involving Bobby Holesclaw and Tina Ward Pooh in my election for District 3 for U.S. Representative. And these are the three issues. These are the three events where the precinct reporting was suspended. Okay, and so this is page 2, and this is the final page, page 3. Okay, and here's my signature at the bottom, and this went by certified mail to the governor, to Governor Beshear. Okay, and there were 5 attachments to the letter, and this is one of the attachments. This is the lien on Michael Adams, that disqualifies him from holding office. Okay, and this is the other lien on Michael Adams that disqualifies him from holding office. And this is the lien on Bobby Holesclaw that disqualifies her from holding office, much less to be able to certify the vote counts and the irregularities that we experienced on election night. And these are just the irregularities that I am aware of. Other people have generally complained about other things that were going on. And this is the lien on Karen Sellers, Miss Sellers. I mentioned her, and from page 1, she's the director of the Kentucky Board of Elections, and we're charging each of these people with obstruction of the 2022 election process. Okay, and this is my affidavit for Section C in the letter. One moment, right here. Okay, and this affirms the closing of at least one precinct that prevented a group of people from voting. And this affidavit is attachment 5, submitted to the governor, submitted with this warrant letter. Okay, and this is a copy of the mail receipts for sending the warrant letter to the governor. And this right here is the stamp from the governor's office where I delivered a copy of this warrant letter by mail. By foot. I drove to Frankfurt and delivered it to his office to ensure that he got it on the day of mailing, in lieu of the prospect of certifying the vote count. Okay, and this is the certified receipt right here. Okay, November 16th. Okay, and this is my petition letter this petition letter entitled Petition Letter to Correct Kentucky Voting and Reversing the Debt Crisis Causing Economic Collapse. And it is very likely that this petition letter is what affected the delay in getting the certification of the vote count well, not a delay, but has thus far prevented the vote count from being certified and even posting the unofficial vote count by people sending in the petition letter demanding a redo on the elections. And and it reads here. Well, I'll read it to you later. I'm going to read this. I'm going to read the 3-page letter in this petition letter later on to you. Okay, and there's this sub-petition right here supporting the tort claim for reversing the 3 antitrust violations causing the debt crisis. And this is the other sub-petition supporting replacing the Federal Reserve with the Office of Commercial Contracts. Okay, so we will get off into that regarding this essay right here, which discusses the debt crisis. And on the back of this essay, it's entitled, "Don't Let Our Nation Become the Evil Empire." And it connects, discusses the U.S. behavior that is leading to the debt crisis, that is leading to the cashless society, in which by all costs we have to prevent further prevent the degradation of America in U.S. society. Okay, so we're going to get into that, and be on the reverse side of this essay is this balance sheet. It's called the taxpayers' annual taxes paid to the Federal Reserve debt. And this is important for showing people that we do indeed have a debt crisis that is leading to collapse. And such as, okay, in 2018, we took in over $6 trillion in taxes and fees, and we paid over half of that. See line 5 here. We paid over half of that to the Federal Reserve debt. And so the other half went to the budget, but because that still wasn't enough, even though we took in $6 trillion, we still had to borrow at least $1.2 trillion to make ends meet for the budget. And so this amount here, figure 8, the amount applied to the budget, is getting smaller every year, while this amount going to the debt is getting larger every year. So as I point out here from this paragraph down here with this arrow, that this eventually, with the amount applied to the debt continuing to decrease, then eventually we won't have the money to pay for our obligations, and like Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, the military, and the social safety net. And this number is getting smaller to be able to fund our programs. Okay, and so this is how we know that we're headed to collapse. And as you know, they're calling it the coming recession, but it shows right here with these numbers here that this thing is eventually going to collapse, but it is reversible by the 3 antitrust violations, which is which is the basis of my lawsuits and my tort claims for reversing this situation. These are the 3 antitrust violations here, 1, 2, and 3, that is causing the debt crisis. And even if you do not, you may not be able to relate these violations to your daily life or how it is causing so much pain and disruption in your daily life. For example, the announcement of terminating the school lunch programs is affecting millions of people, and that in the school lunch program, that money is now going toward the debt. It's being added to the debt, and that is just one example of hundreds and even thousands of examples of how our lives are being affected by the debt crisis. Okay, and so these 3 antitrust violations is what's causing this problem. And these violations are inside my tort claim. Right here for reversing these violations. You can go online at the protectamericaproject.org to see this entire tort claim for reversing the debt crisis. And this is a list of restitutions from 1 through 6 for damages to be paid to the U.S. citizens. And number 1 at the top of the of this list from 1 through 6 is to reverse the 3 antitrust violations, and they are reversing the reinstate the Glass-Steagall Act, okay, and number 2 to increase the prime interest rate to a competitive level, okay, and many people may not understand. They think that intuitively believe that we need the lower interest rates, but it is the low interest rates that has contributed to our debt crisis since 1999. And number 3 here, to stop the illegal Fed loans to the investment bankers. And I know I'm jumping across to several issues regarding the debt crisis, but we have to understand what is being done to us if we're going to save the nation. Okay, and in that tort claim, page 1 of that tort claim that I just showed you, this is attachment. Okay, figure 1 here inside the tort claim at the protectamericaproject.org. Excuse me. Let me adjust the display here. The protectamericaproject.org right here. And make sure you enter all of the hyphens when you enter this URL address to the website. Okay. Now back to figure 1 inside the tort claim for reversing the antitrust violations. The subtitle in the tort claim is for creating crisis against U.S. sovereignty. Okay, and then on page 2 of the claim, it identifies the 5 issues of damages that's being done to us: the debt crisis from the Federal Reserve's antitrust violations, and then the collapsing the economy. They know, and A here, they know how to reverse the debt crisis by reversing the antitrust violations, but they won't do it. And so now they're going to intentionally collapse the economy to bring in the cashless society. Okay, and then C, they've manufactured the COVID crisis. The manufactured COVID crisis is killing Americans and consuming tax dollars. And this 19-page document goes in to each of these issues to show how Americans are being scammed by the system. Okay, and then D here is refusal to repair the U.S. Postal Service, and you will see that how the U.S. Postal Service is wholly fixable. And then the damages to Secure Party Daniel Cobble. For each of the feasors here, I'm demanding $100,000 each. The amount of damages that's being done to me is quite a bit more than that. They owe me many millions of dollars. But because the tort claim is for forcing our officials to bring America back from collapse. The money is not that important to me, so I'm only claiming $100,000 per feasor. A feasor is an offender. These are all offenders or feasors within the tort claim. And this is the restitution right here from Warrant 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and so this is in the trillions of dollars. Okay, so this is where the real money is being claimed, being paid back to the American people. But real quickly, I'm gonna try not to take too long. The 3 antitrust violations is causing today's improper distribution of reserves by the Federal Reserve. And the violations are sending trillions every year over to the financial sector that belongs in the commercial sector. But because the commercial sector is being shorted, and that is causing, preventing tax revenues from being generated, they have to constantly go up on your taxes to go up on your taxes to compensate for the dollars, the trillions that are being taken out of the economy, the commercial sector every year. Okay, this is what's causing this problem. During this period, we had the low interest rates right here that is causing the trillions in debt. Now, this debt number, 25.7 trillion, was what we had in early 2020 at the pretty much the beginning of the COVID crisis, which it's changed right today. Today that this figure is around 31 trillion, and it is pointed out here. See that 31 trillion, and so Figure 2 in this illustration, remember this is attachment 1 inside the tort claim. Figure 2, it shows the proper distribution of Federal Reserve dollars, and where all money issued by the Federal Reserve goes into the commercial sector and none into the financial sector, so that everybody is over here on this side, the commercial sector, competing pretty much equally for the dollars. And that's the way it was pretty much in 1999 and before this began. The Glass-Steagall Act, the first antitrust violation, was terminated in 1999, and that was the beginning of our troubles. The Glass-Steagall Act is what led to the 2008 mortgage-backed securities meltdown when Obama came into office. You remember that, right? Okay, when Bill Clinton left office on January 2001, the prime interest rate was 5.46%, and we was running billions in surpluses every year. So these 3 antitrust violations are for you all that still question what's going on here, okay, what has caused this debt here, this extreme debt here versus what we was at in 1999, okay, when the interest rates was competitively higher and the economy was booming, when we had American free enterprise. The elimination, reversing the 3 antitrust violations will return us to American free enterprise. What we have today is wholesale capitalism that is making a slave out of virtually all Americans, as it points out here, okay? And this caption right here is Section 13, Clause 2 of the Federal Reserve Act, that specifically states in reference to antitrust violation 3 that the Federal Reserve is not supposed to deal in investment in commercial instruments, only instruments regarding the government, the treasury bills, and issuing dollars to the commercial banks, but no investment instruments regarding the commercial sector. It says it right here, so we are abjectly violating the law by these 3 antitrust violations. Okay, so hopefully and right here in the margin over here are many of the effects of these antitrust violations that has disrupted that has stolen American prosperity since 1999. And if you don't believe it, look here, okay? Back to page 1 in the tort claim. They say that we owe over $31 trillion in debt, as you can see right here. But just in derivative contracts alone, they're holding over $1.2 quadrillion in derivative contracts alone. So if they're sitting on this kind of wealth, and this is not counting everything else that they're holding, okay, there's no way that we owe $31 trillion. And we're saying that this disparity is caused by these 3 antitrust violations. Okay, so if you want to fix America and you want to get this tax monkey off your back, then get involved in supporting this tort claim so we can turn this situation around. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to go to reading the the warrant letter to the governor in this essay right here, Don't Let Our Nation Become the Evil Empire. Okay, so I'm over and out for now. Hello, folks. Before I begin the reading of my documents, I want to point out that the reason that I'm doing this video, reading these latest documents to you for access to the public, is that I am being subjected to organized stalking by big tech. And organized stalking is a term that I learned from Kathy McMurray, who is also an activist. And I would like to just list off some of the things that have happened to me in recent days that is preventing me from using the traditional means of updating and getting my information to you. Again, the reason why I did this, I'm doing this YouTube video, is because of the organized stalking that I am being subjected to by big tech. Okay. Number one, Twitter is preventing me from posting my JPEG images. Okay. So that is how I impress the significance of a document by showing you a JPEG image from the document that I am leading you to. And number two, AOL and Google are preventing me from copying and pasting my email list to inform my email patrons. Okay. And then three, on November 18, AOL closed my email account. And without explanation, they closed my account, AOL, and it demonstrates how upset and threatened that they are, by my work. And number four, on October 13, my web host, which is edirecthost.com, began blocking me from uploading files on my website. So I can only update through YouTube, as I pointed out. For example, the purpose of this video. Okay. November 21, the OnShot video app deleted my new video from my mobile phone. And that video was the original video of the reading of these documents. Okay. And but it was I could not upload it to YouTube because the OnShot video app deleted that video after I completed it and it vanished. I have no idea where it's at. Okay. And so these are just some of the latest ways that I am being stalked by big tech. These are antitrust violations that need to be addressed. These people, the big tech, or big tech is they are intervening our subscriptions that we have with them. And as you know, these subscriptions are part of the utilitarian function of the utility function of the internet that requires us to operate in order to participate and socialize upon the internet. So these interfering, this stalking and this stalking and interfering with my subscriptions, has to be addressed. To stop this harassment, and of course, it is other people are being affected, also are being accosted by this harassment, also, such as Miss Kathy McMurray, as such. Okay, so that's that, and I just wanted to let you know the reason for this video, and so we're going to resume. We're going to begin with the reading. Continue with the reading of the documents. Okay. Now, to read the letter, the November 16, 2022 Warrant Letter. There's a notion here, a statement here at the top here that says, disenfranchising voters again. Again, I am the write-in candidate Daniel Cobble for U.S. Representative District 3. Okay, to Governor Andy Beshear, and there are 4 liens and 1 affidavit attached, 5 attachments total, and copies have been sent to candidate Bill Durer, candidate for mayor for Metro Louisville, and Tina Ward Poole, candidate for Jefferson County clerk. And it regards 4 items of irregularities. Warrant to redo elections where voting precincts suspended from reporting vote counts, resulting in violations of Kentucky Constitution Section 148. And then B, liens disqualify Secretary of State Adams, Jefferson County Clerk Holtzclaw, and Director Sellers from holding office. And 3, more election fraud. Residents report a closed precinct without notification from Clerk Holtzclaw prevented from voting. And D, Adams and Sellers conspiring again to certify false vote counts. Dear Governor Beshear, pursuant to the continuing irregularities in vote counting on election night, November 8, 2022, the citizens of Jefferson County warrant a redo of particular elections that violated Section 148 of the Kentucky Constitution and barred voters from voting. These elections include Louisville mayoral, for Jefferson County Clerk, and for U.S. Representative District 3. The hearing irregularities are headed by County Clerk Bobby Holtzclaw, Secretary of State Michael Adams, and Karen Sellers, Director of the Kentucky Board of Elections. In addition, the cited liens disqualify Holtzclaw, Adams, and Sellers from holding public office, to wit, in violation of said Section 148 under the authority of Holtzclaw, Adams, and Sellers, the neighborhood precincts were suspended or intermittently suspended from reporting their vote counts so that county and or state officials took over counting and reporting the counts. This unlawful takeover invalidates the particular elections and cannot lawfully certify the vote counts, for there exists a material conflict of interest where county and state officials conduct elections. For example, Holtzclaw has an interest in counting the votes to remain as the county clerk. Also in violation of Section 148, the countywide precincts at early voting as well create this conflict of interest. But whereas Section 148 requires all precinct officers counting the votes to come from the precinct of the neighborhoods where they reside, and wherefore Governor Beshear, you must deem these counts unlawful and unreliable for certification from county and state officials. Travesty on election night, suspended precinct reporting. The proper counting of votes on election night is relatively simple. After counting the votes, the neighborhood precinct officers then report their totals to the county clerk. The clerk then reports the totals to the Secretary of State, the SOS, for public disclosure on the next day, November 9. The SOS should publish the official totals until certified. As you know, the unofficial totals have not been posted for public inspection. This has been, today's the 27th, so that's 19 days, and we have no unofficial vote totals, and therefore these any totals that's posted from this point on will be invalid. They cannot be properly validated and cannot be trusted to be valid. Okay, next paragraph under the travesty on election night. But on election night, the Louisville mayoral race immediately reported 0% precincts reporting throughout the vote count. The counts were therefore provided by county and or state officials. Pursuant to the reports, counts from precincts were suspended in the mayoral election. For electing the Jefferson County Clerk, early on at approximately 7:30 p.m., candidate Tina Ward Poole was ahead of opponent Bobby Holtzclaw by over 7,000 votes by the precincts reporting. Then suddenly, the reporting status went to 0 precincts reporting, and later Holtzclaw was reported as taking the lead over Ward Poole. Regarding the count for U.S. Representative, Louisville District 3, for approximately 2 hours, precinct reporting froze at 11%, with a count of Morgan McGarvey, 24,990, and Stuart Ray, 12,150. Suddenly, at 8:16 p.m., the status went to 0 precinct reporting. Then at 8:33 p.m., the status changed to 27% reporting, showing McGarvey having 56,791, and Ray 29,813. Then, quite suspiciously, with only 27% reporting, McGarvey gave his victory speech. For the remainder of the night after his victory speech, the District 3 count remained the same, frozen at the same 56,791, and Ray 29,818, and 0% reporting, while all other U.S. representative counts continue to rise with the precincts reporting. This is prima facie evidence that these status changes for District 3 with frozen counts, suspended precinct reporting for county and or state officials to count the votes. In February 2022, WDRB 41 TV reported that I was polling #1 to win as Congressman District 3, including I inquired, including over Morgan McGarvey. However, Secretary of State Adams certified for the May 17th primary that I, Cobble, only received 15,039 votes to disenfranchise thousands of voters. Since Channel 41's report, the broadcast media and government officials have conspired to keep my face and name from public view, away from would-be voters. On November 8, officials did not report votes received by me. This is end of the Section A regarding the suspension of the precincts reporting. Section B begins with the liens. Governor Beshear, as you were served the herein referenced liens, the history of election fraud committed by Secretary Adams was charged in Civil Action 20 CI 865, the December 29, 2021 criminal complaint to the Franklin County Sheriff, in the August 19 and September 3, 2022 tort claims, 2022 tort claims that precipitated the two liens for removing Adams from office, and two, election fraud by Bobby Holtzclaw and Karen Sellers were processed in said September 3 tort claim, resulting in their respective liens. Thus, where precinct reporting was suspended on November 8, the law warrants redo elections. Otherwise, the respective vote counts are illegitimate and cannot be legally certified. The liens, next paragraph and final paragraph in Section B, the liens are attached as ID 2022 I digress. Let me start over. The four liens are attached as ID 2022 323372.12-001 and 2022-3232236-67, 0.67-001 for Adams. These were the two liens issued on Adams. And then 2022-3233-725.01-001 for Holesclaw in ID 2022-3233- ID 2022-3233-727.23-001 for Keller. And thus, pursuant to your oath of office, you are required to remove these people from office. Okay, now we begin with Section C, more election fraud. Residents report a closed precinct without notification from Clerk Holesclaw, prevented from voting. Residents from a Louisville Taylor Boulevard neighborhood say the voting precinct was closed without notification from County Clerk Holesclaw. In addition, a voter showed me her benign notification card from Holesclaw stating she was registered to vote, but the card does not state the polling ID/identification in location. The voter notification cards always states polling ID and address. Thus, they were prevented from voting. When these residents called the clerk's office for clarification on the precinct closing, they were given a false address to a vacant and locked residence. For fear of retaliation from Governor Beshear, the reporting resident is herein identified as Jane Doe until you, Governor Beshear, order an investigation into these continuing irregularities of fraud to disenfranchise voters. These allegations are consistent with the attaching liens on Holesclaw, Adams, and Keller, not Sellers. Oh, wait a minute. Keller. Adams and Keller. Please see my attached sworn affidavit affirming the above allegations of Jane Doe. Governor Beshear closing the neighborhood precincts without, let me digress, start over, new paragraph. Governor Beshear closing a neighborhood precinct without notification to voters is grounds for redoing all the elections in Jefferson County, not just the three races that I cited in A, where the neighborhood voting precincts were suspended from reporting their vote counts. But here in the Section C here, closing a neighborhood precinct without notification to voters is grounds for redoing all elections in Jefferson County. It confirms the evidentiary liens for removing these officials from office and for criminal prosecution. An investigation by independent parties will likely reveal the closure of other precincts. End of paragraph. Okay, so I'm going to read the affidavit for Section C. Okay, right here, you already seen it. affidavit of Daniel Cobble regarding closed voting precinct without notification, and it begins, to whom it may concern. Under the penalties of perjury, I, Daniel Cobble, hereby make the following statement as true and correct to the best of my knowledge. Beginning new paragraph. On November 11, 2022, a Louisville resident approached me to explain her and others' attempt to vote on Election Day, November 8, 2022. I am identifying said resident as Jane Doe. I will reveal her identity to Governor Andy Beshear upon initiating a formal investigation into this matter, to wit, without notification from the county clerk's office. Ms. Doe explained that the usual voting precinct was closed on Election Day in the Taylor Boulevard neighborhood. She showed me a voter notification card from Clerk Bobby Holsclaw that did not state the required precinct location. She explained that when calling the clerk's office for clarification, they were given the address of a vacant and locked residence. This is all I have to say on this matter. Signed, Daniel Cobble, November 12, 2022. Okay, and then we go to the last paragraph in the letter of the warrant letter to Governor Beshear, Section D. Adams and Sellers conspiring to certify false vote counts. In conclusion, Governor Beshear, this matter warrants redo elections for all November 8 elections affected by the malfeasance of Holsclaw, Adams, and Sellers. No wonder I got that wrong. Okay, my mistake. I've been calling Director Sellers Keller, and it is Sellers. Okay, my mistake. That has to be addressed in the letter. Second, Director Sellers, Director of the Kentucky Board of Elections. In conclusion, Governor Beshear, this matter warrants to redo elections for all November 8 elections affected by the malfeasance of Holsclaw, Adams, and Sellers. For they are conspiring once again to certify fraudulent vote counts, that is, vote totals are invalid without the precincts reporting the vote counts. Pursuant to the liens, on November 8, our broken voting apparatus continued to disenfranchise voters in for upcoming future elections. Thus again, this matter warrants criminal prosecution of the violating officials. Sincerely, signed, Daniel Cobble, November 16, 2022. Okay, and okay, then I'm going to go over the petition letter real quick. I did it quickly earlier, just so that you will have the information. Yes, I support, it's entitled Petition Letter to Correct Kentucky Voting in Reversing the Debt Crisis Causing Economic Collapse, to Governor Andy Beshear and others. Yes, I support the November 16, 2022 warrant letter to ensure reporting every vote. Please conduct a revote to redo the specified November 8 elections in Jefferson County, Kentucky, in accordance with Kentucky Constitution sections 147 and 148. It's a travesty of justice of how government officials and the media are treating candidate Daniel Cobble. By the supporting links, please remove the stated officials from office. Okay, and then in the many petitions down here at the bottom, right here and right here, the one on the left begins with, also I support the September 20, 2022 tort claim and restitution to U.S. households, including reversing the 3 antitrust violations causing the debt crisis, collapsing the economy. And I support replacing the Federal Reserve with the Office of Commercial Contracts, the OCC, within the U.S. Department of Treasury. Okay, so that's it on the November 16th warrant, 2022 warrant letter to Governor Beshear. Okay, and so I'm going to set this aside, and now I'm going to read my essay. Okay, and you've seen the relevant documents, including this balance sheet, the taxpayers' balance sheet for 2018. Okay, so let's begin. Don't let our nation become the evil empire. From the desk of Daniel Cobble, November 18, 2022. And you can get more information at theprotectamericaproject.org. And in caption, beside my handsome picture right here, Daniel Cobble was a write-in candidate for U.S. Representative to replace John Yarmouth. Today, he is seeking to redo particular November 8 elections due to the continuing documented irregularities that are disenfranchising voters. Okay, first paragraph begins, have you heard the ongoing statistic that 20% of Americans are harmless psychopaths? I can see how this may be so because government is routinely applying policies that harm people. People then accept this bad behavior by not holding officials accountable. Thus, we become psychopaths. We become psychopaths by accepting psychopathic behavior. Psychopath defined as to act without conscience in regard to others. For example, new paragraph. Both parents and teachers wanted in education authorities already know that the Parental School Staff Partnership, PSSP, is the most healthy and secure environment for educating kids. PSSP is when parents and grandparents in schools are aides to teachers and staff. Teachers love PSSP because the presence of the neighborhood parents is proven to emotionally stabilize the kids. It number one, bolsters their mental health. 2, provides on-site mentoring. 3, diminishes bullying. And 4, provides the high-level security of the innately watchful eyes of parents and grandparents. Until now, education authorities have psychopathically rejected PSSP. Even worse, it is negligent of teachers and parents to not demand and fight for PSSP. PSSP will make life easier for everyone. In denying PSSP, remember, PSSP stands for, is the acronym for Parental School Staff Partnership. In denying PSSP, government again demonstrates that it is anti-family and anti-education. Another example, it uses school choice to defund public schools and to confuse the public. Because we don't have to accept this, but let me digress, begin again. But we don't have to accept this behavior. We can demand PSSP as a matter of course. End of paragraph. Next paragraph. Another of many examples is ever expansion of the healthcare industry. We are allowing psychopathic government and corporate officials to hustle prescription drugs that make people sicker. So it's no wonder that we have an acute shortage of nurses that cannot keep up. In addition, this expansionism creates the non-caring settings that compel nurses to resign from nursing. And yet, a most viable and less expensive alternative to prescription drugs is the real and well-established medicine of preventive care. Here, prescription drugs would be the least option, but we keep accepting the hustle of prescription drugs over preventive care. That's also polluting our water and our environment. End of paragraph. I give these examples of our passive behavior because I fear that accept the feasible but manufactured debt crisis leading to collapse of the economy. That's right, Joe Biden, Mitch McConnell, including Senator Rand Paul, etc., know the Federal Reserve's 3 antitrust violations are causing this crisis, but they are silent in letting it happen. During a collapse, they want to impose the illegal cashless society. That's why we cannot get sucked in to identity politics. For example, some people favor Biden and Governor Beshear, of whom both support the cashless society. Instead, for our own security, we have to confront officials with our own common sense. See the petition letter. It's why we have to prepare to remove them from office by tortlings, including Governor Beshear. End of paragraph. Government's irrational policies / actions comes from allowing the debt crisis to go too far for too long. as psychopathic behavior, officials are collaborating with corporate officials at the expense of taxpayers. End of paragraph. For if we allow the cashless society, then the U.S. will indeed become the evil empire to further oppress our lives. Hence, don't accept media sound bites until considering your own assessments and decisions with others. If your common sense tells you otherwise, then inform your elected officials and share and meet with others. Holding officials accountable is how we ourselves prevent becoming psychopaths in the nation as the evil empire. End of essay. Okay, folks, so that concludes the reading of these two documents. And I hope that that you find this information valuable, because it is what will save our nation. So this is Mr. Cobble, over and out, and I'll see you out there.